starts next. Gracious hosts once again, as we've been talking about throughout the weekend, the beautiful Adelaide Riverbank, one of Adelaide's iconic public spaces, offering panoramic views across the River Torrens and the surrounding parklands. And here we are in West Beach, one final time for the decider. Will it be that squad, the Adelaide Giants, taking home bragging rights, or can the Brisbane Bandits knock the final series tally up at 2 games apiece? Hello again and welcome one last time, ladies and gentlemen, into our broadcast position at Bennett Field alongside former big leaguer Shane Bennett and World Cup silver medalist Amy McCann. My name is Andrew Reynolds. And Benno, Amy, we talked prior to the start of this game and after game number 3. It truly is an opportunity for that team, the Brisbane Bandits, who we see on screen, to knot this thing up and everyone walk away 2 games apiece. Yeah, look, we saw the Brisbane Bandits absolutely burst from the gates in game 1 yesterday, so they'd be looking to bookend this, as you said, to even up the ledger at 2-2. We know the Adelaide Giants, their bats were hot there, but we know the potential. We know it. We've seen it from Brisbane, so looking forward to this game 4. And Benno, as we talked about at the end of game number 3, for Brisbane, it really is just about putting those last 2 games behind you. You know you can win a game. They did it. They scored 12 runs in the second inning of game 1. It'd be about putting that behind you. Let's go out and get a win and knot this thing up, and everybody wins a couple of games. Yeah, for me, for Brisbane, it's about pitching and defense this game, and they got to minimize some errors and get the easy outs when it's presented to them, and I think that's the key for Brisbane. There's been plenty of runs in this side the last couple of days. We talked about they blew up in the 3rd inning of game number 1, and they've put a lot of crooked numbers up since. You get a look at the batting lineup for the Adelaide Giants for game 4. Yeah, look, I think I can't go past number 5, Madison Tabrett, what she has done on the field with the bat. We saw the 3-run home run in that game earlier today, and look, anything's possible with her. She's been impressive. It was a 22-5 final score. There you get a look at the defensive alignment for the Adelaide Giants. Again, this is a team that was held at bay offensively for the most part early in game number 1, but these bats have really shown through, and what a moment it would be if they could win this first ever Australian Women's Baseball Showcase on their home diamond. But on the other side, the Brisbane Bandits, the opportunity is there to get their 2nd win. There you get a look at Lisa Norrie's club's lineup for this 4th and final contest. Yeah, look, Morgan Doty with the dot right at the top of the lineup again. We saw a bomb from her in that game, and look, she's shown that power. We know her speed, so I'm looking forward to seeing how she does that again. And look, we know Murderers Row. We've seen the home runs from those guys. I'm really sad about this last fourth game. It's just starting to warm up. I wish there was more. I was just going to ask you, as you sort of reflect on the previous 3 games and obviously the one more contest to go in this Women's Baseball Showcase, it's a historic opportunity. It's a historic moment for baseball in Australia, and we kind of talked about this being the lead-in to a potential professional women's league, a Women's Australian Baseball League, which Baseball Australia hopes to launch in the next 8 to 12 months. Just give us your thoughts on the weekend as a whole coming into this final contest. Look, amazing to be here. I think full credit to the organisers from Adelaide, Baseball Australia, the sponsors in Varlo, to actually be able to be out on the ballpark this weekend after the 3 straight COVID cancellations. Just being here. And the moment, the significance, this defining moment is not lost on any of those players out there. They are absolutely bursting. They are loving it, and we're seeing some really good performances. Benno, we talked about it before game number 1 yesterday. A father of 2 daughters that are very much involved in sport, a facility that dons your name, having played in the big leagues, a lifelong South Australian. What has it meant to you to have an event like this, not only at this stadium, but in South Australia and Adelaide, to be such gracious hosts? For me, you got to be proud. You got to be proud to be a South Australian. You got to be proud to be a baseball person, first and foremost. And, as Amy said, kudos to the organisers and to the players for sticking around and being so brave during the COVID, series and the issues that we've had to delay. Could you imagine as a player, you're gearing up to jump on that plane, 24 hours later, cancelled? Yeah. Those poor athletes out there have waited and waited, and they have not disappointed in 3 games. I've had the best time watching these athletes run around with smiles on their face. You look at Need at shortstop at Brisbane tonight's game, cheeky grin on the face. I love it. It's fantastic. There's personalities out there. That's what we want to see. We also must remember as well, off the back of COVID, they've lost 2 nationals. They've lost the summer season. They've lost these events. So they've come in here. Some might be a bit rusty, a bit underdone. But they're going out. They're going hard. And 4 games in 24 hours. That's tough for anyone. We'll head down on field one final time as Ethan Hall will sing Advance Australia Fair.
Oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, Advance Australia fair.
He's got some pipes on him, doesn't he? Young Ethan Hall, who rose to fame singing at Norwood Oval. I think it was about 5 years ago. He sang the entire national anthem while he had the hiccups. The Ellen Show called. Everybody was calling this kid to try and get him on their show. It was probably one of the biggest viral moments the Australian Baseball League has ever had. But he's grown up from that. He's still got a pair of pipes on him, doesn't he?
Oh, it's fantastic. But you know what I do like is that, these athletes out here today have experienced, more in a traditional professional manner, in the fact that they turned up, their lockers are ready to go, the uniforms are in the locker, there's food available, etc. The expectation, I think, from the organisers has delivered on an off-field sort of point of view, the accommodation and how it's all happening, and I think it's just a bit of a taste, and that'll drive them even further to perform better and be better ball players.
I was just talking to the editor-in-chief of baseball.com.au yesterday, and David Penrose, who happens to be sitting to my left currently. I dig the uniforms. I think they're both really, really slick, and not to pick favorites, but that bright red that shines through from that Adelaide Giants uniform, I'm a really big fan of. Yeah, just quietly.
Yeah, look, I think it's great. As we spoke about yesterday, the girls are definitely proud of playing on the front. I just spoke to Mark Reedy, the owner of the Brisbane Bandits, and he's so proud to see the girls wearing the jerseys out there. And I am too. I would love this opportunity. It's amazing to be a part of it. But as we touched on as well yesterday, is the girls know the opportunity individually as well here. They definitely want to perform for the team, but they want to perform for themselves and put their hand up.
They're performing for a spot on Team Australia. That's what everyone's got to remember here. Every pitch is crucial. Every hit, every at-bat is crucial. They are playing for their life to make Team Australia. Make no bones about it. This means a lot to them.
We saw her a moment ago. Here she is again. Jordan Richardson, the right-hander, Amy, will get the start for the Brisbane Bandits here in Game 4.
Yeah, look, Jordan Richardson, just another one of these younger girls. I think we've spoken a lot about the influence of the older players in Laura Needs. Jordan Richardson comes from the Greenway Giants Club and has had a lot of coaching from Laura Needs, and you can sort of see very similar on the mound there with the hat over the ponytail there. So looking to see she's got a strong arm, 20 years of age, so hopefully she can shut down this Adelaide Giants lineup and get their bats going for Brisbane.
Again, the Giants winning the day's earlier game 22-5. Brisbane were winners in Game 1 yesterday afternoon. Adelaide have won 2 straight. The Bandits trying to win today and send us all home at 2 games apiece. The Giants trying to take home the winning trophy for the Australian Women's Baseball Showcase. And as she has done all throughout the weekend, Takara Heldenace will lead things off for the Adelaide Giants. The first to oppose Jordan Richardson. And we are underway in the final game of the Australian Women's Baseball Showcase. And the first pitch is high and inside for ball 1. Heldenace, Lily White, and Borga Maestro, the 3 due-ups for Adelaide here in the top half of the first inning. And this one's bounced toward the left side. That one's gobbled up, and the throw across is high. Oh, but good work over at first base. Good work all the way around for the Brisbane defense. A good start. There's one away to begin the contest.
And that's what we want to see right there. As we said before pre-game, Amy, you want to get the outs. Now, that's a give-me out right there. It's a great play. Nice footwork. Gets the throw across and a fantastic little jump and tag at the same time from Mcclellan.
And the versatility from the players. Maddie Patrick has spent the whole weekend in right field, and we see now at the corner, and we've spoken a lot about Abby Mcclellan's switch to first base. I love that play.
So here's Shea Lily White. Had the game off in the day's earlier game, Game 3 of this Women's Baseball Showcase, but inserted back into the lineup at second base for Game 2. Borgamaestro was inserted in the 2 spot earlier today. She's moved back into the 3 hole. Here's a pop fly right side going over from second base. Wagner makes the catch on the run. A slick play on the edge of the outfield grass. And Richardson's retired the first 2 she's faced.
Yeah, a good start there from Laura Wagner. And she sets really high standards, and she'd be disappointed with some of the plays that she's made at second base, but she has more than made up for it with the bat, so she'll be happy to start off game 4 with that slick play.
I mean, if you look at Richardson on the mound, I mean, I still remember the nice play she came in at third base last night. So she's got a great arm on her. It's just a matter of whether that can transition perfectly onto the mound.
Well, a quick 1-2-3 first inning would be just what the doctor ordered for Jordan Richardson after Adelaide played at 6. It really kicked away before Brisbane even had an opportunity to come to the plate in game 1. If they could get into the dugout 0-0 in the home half of the first inning, it would certainly swing the momentum in their direction. Next to Borgamaestro on the ground toward third. A foul ball just skate that third baseline, but just foul. Heart in the mouth stuff for Jordan Richardson, but at the end of the day, it's just a strike.
It's a long strike. There's no doubt about that. So, as a pitcher, you take it, you readjust, and but once again, it's another soft ground ball, and that's what we're looking for on a defensive side for Brisbane. And this is a massive confidence boost if they can keep the base runners off the path and get a 1-2-3 inning.
One ball and one strike on Borgamaestro. Pretty good pitch on 1-1. Just left up and in. 2 balls and a strike.
How impressive has Borgamaestro been these 4 games? We talk about the pressure of playing so many games in 24 hours, and she went, yep, no, put me in. Put me in shortstop, put me on the mound. She's an amazing utility.
A lot of two-way players that have impressed. As we talked about in game 3, here's a good pitch on 2-1 to even the count. Kayla scored on a couple of occasions in the day's earlier game, was 2 for 5 in yesterday's action, including 4 RBIs. Here's the 2-2. Off speed, and just eats up Madison Heath behind home plate somewhat, but no one on base, so no damage done. Claire O'Sullivan awaiting on deck if Borgamaestro is able to extend the inning. And again, I almost wonder if you use the power play. If you get out of the inning here with no runs scored, do you just use it in the first inning? This one hit over toward right field. Marshall on the run toward the line, can't make the catch. It'll be extra bases for Borgamaestro on her way to second base. She'll set up camp there, and it's a 2-out double. The Adelaide shortstop puts herself in scoring position here in the first for Claire O'Sullivan.
Yeah, as we have a look at the replay here, let's not forget Hannah Marshall just spent game 3 behind the dish. A catcher, she's a catcher. I know that Lisa Norrie asked her before the game if she was willing to play another position, and she says yes, as they all do. I mean, who would not want to be out on the field, even if you're out of position? But a catcher taking diving effort out there in right field.
And had she had another step, she probably makes the catch. It was more so about great positioning and the base hit from Borgamaestro than anything else. Really not much more that Marshall could have done in right field. Here's Claire O'Sullivan. Takes a fastball.
And I'll
Jordan
say the
Richardson,
obvious.
0-1.
I'll say the obvious again. runners on the base paths every time this lady comes up the bat.
We just need to get a soundboard of you saying that. And I'll just push the button every time she comes to the plate.
Told you.
Save you a little bit of work. Music to your ears, I'm sure. 0-1. Another good pitch. Richardson quickly ahead, 0-2.
That the impressive thing that I'm seeing from Richardson right now is the ability to throw that little slider, little slurve slider curve thing over the plate. But the ability to throw it for a strike is enormous.
Maybe see if she can get O'Sullivan to chase something here on 0-2. Dangerous hitter to leave things out over the plate too. Went after her on 0-2, but didn't get the call. That's a good pitch.
Good, and you know what? Good eyes for Claire. I had a sneaky chat with her when I was ducking out to get a drink between the games, and I said, you look good. You're looking confident up there. If we have a look, she looks strong. And she just said, look, my timing's just been a little bit off. Her swings have been really good. I think when she puts it together, I think it's going to be scary.
Benno, as a former pitcher, is on Team Jordan Richardson on that pitch, just quietly. 1-2. Off the plate outside, count even 2-2.
Okay, I'll take Claire. I'll take Team Claire in this matchup here.
We'll have to separate the two of you.
Richardson's thrown the ball really well. You know, the ball's down. You can see some soft contact so far, and you know, I think she's gonna have a good result right here.
Richardson trying to get out of the inning unscathed. The runner at second. 2-2 hit back up the middle. It's a bouncing ball towards short. Spinning play by Needs. Throw in time. Got her. Excellent defense by Laura Needs at shortstop. And Brisbane get out of the inning unscathed. Richardson pitches around the 2-out double. Let's go to the home half of the first inning. Adelaide nothing. Brisbane coming up. Valo's an Australian tech company that specializes in designing and manufacturing LED lighting and visual displays. Official lighting partner of Baseball Australia, Valo products carry a 10-year warranty and are built to withstand Australia's extreme weather conditions. Support Aussie made by visiting valo.com.au. Here's Morgan Doty. She'll be leading things off in the first inning for Brisbane. Went deep earlier today.
Unbelievable. I mean, what an amazing athlete she has been. What she's done defensively and offensively, it's just been outstanding to watch.
We were sitting here positing whether or not Brisbane might use a cheeky power play in the home half of the first inning. It'd be gutsy for Lisa Norrie to pull it out before the team even comes to the plate. But when you think about it, the momentum has shifted a little bit. Adelaide's scoring all those runs. They've scored early and often. Brisbane maybe just going to try and do it the old-fashioned way as we get a look at young Caitlin Heinen, who will be the starting pitcher for Adelaide in Game 4.
Well, this is a kid that's had an absolute cannon of an arm at shortstop when she came in, and look at that, right off the bat. Happy days. I'm loving watching this.
It'll be Doty, Elodie O'Sullivan, and Taylor Welch to lead things off. 3 do-ups. I think she is throwing cheese, isn't she? That one missing high and tight.
I'm loving this.
Got a cannon.
How exciting is this? I mean, I know most of these plays, but then you see someone for the first time, you see the ball come out of their hand, and it's just so exciting.
If you look at Baseball Australia right now, you got Davidson that started, great velo, unbelievable. Now you got Heinen coming in as well. Plus you had O'Sullivan.
We haven't even seen Genevieve Beacon.
And we haven't even seen Beacon yet. So, I mean, there is some great players that Australia's got to choose from the mound. I mean, that's a plethora of talent.
And you want to make sure, though, we need to drive it for all those 3. I don't think they're old enough to even drive those 3.
Never mind the cheese. Have a look at this pitch.
Oh.
It's off speed again. This one missing low and inside. There's some young, talented arms within Australia, aren't there? 3 balls and a strike now, the count. Heinen just 17 years of age, mind you. Fastball here that's popped up third base side, and that'll get off and out of play. Tabbert gives it a look. And we'll have a look at the motion from side on for Heinen.
Yeah, as you can see, perfect up over the middle of the plate, gathers herself and everything. I mean, that is picture perfect.
3-2, fastball bouncing in the dirt. The ball got away here momentarily, and Tani Lovering has trouble finding the baseball. And Doty heads up, is going to head to second base on a walk and a wild pitch.
That's a tough play there. It's until the ball's actually gone back onto that sand. It's basically the same colour as the ball. I'm not surprised Tani couldn't. We had everybody yelling at it. She wasn't quite sure what left they were referring to, but yeah, tough to pick the ball up on that.
Well, the Brisbane players were pointing to right field.
As you do. Gamesmanship at its finest. Here's Elodie O'Sullivan now. Fastball misses high and inside.
Heinen right now, she's an all empowering pitcher, so it's the whole body going to the plate. You got arms and legs coming at you.
Fastball again on 1-0, missing high and away.
The question is going to be, can she throw enough consistent strikes around the zone, which then make the breaking ball, which is an exceptional pitch, more effective?
2-0 high again. It's a dangerous spot to be in. There's the two bombs that we saw from Elodie O'Sullivan yesterday.
And we talked about this last night, particularly with the second home run. We'll see in a second the one that went up over the fence. She's very, very compact, Elodie, and I think this is a good matchup here. The heat from Heinen. If she gets one down and in, and she gets the free pass on that instance, but I was watching her in batting practice. That short, compact swing has been so effective for her these 2 days.
We've seen plenty of the velocity from Heinen, but back-to-back walks to begin the inning. Benno just struggling a bit with that command early on.
And that's what Adelaide did well in game one today was, they kept the free passes off the board, and that is massive, especially when you got the massive power coming into the lineup now for Brisbane.
Again, everything just missing up. Prototypically, what's the issue when you see a pitcher consistently missing up in the zone like
just
that?
Overthrowing a little bit, just trying to throw too hard instead of taking a little bit off just to find your rhythm.
Comes back with a well-located fastball for a strike.
But the one thing you can't teach is just the looseness of the arm. You can fix everything else. You can fix the up and down, getting a strike, but you can't teach the looseness of the arm.
1-1. There's a fastball blown right by Taylor Welch. You don't see that very often.
It's really impressive to watch. Young Heinen here to throw the ball. It's just, it's pitching. It's truly pitching.
Big pitch upcoming here. Goes back to the fastball. Lovering keeps it in front. They'll just check on the runner at second base, but Doty back in time.
Good challenge here for Taylor. Haven't seen the best of her today this weekend by no means, so good challenge here.
1-2 is popped up. That'll get off and out of play off toward the right-hand side.
What you'll find generally, I think, Amy, you would have seen it over your career, is sometimes these young pups that come in, they just need an out to settle the nerves.
Yep.
Throw behind Doty again. Oh, that was bang at second base. Doty a bit casual. It wasn't a big lead, but a good move, one from Heinen, but also Borgamaestro being awfully sneaky behind her, the shortstop. The 2-2. This one skied high on the left side. I don't think Tabbert saw it at first. She's found the baseball, and she makes the catch. I think she was struggling. It's been overcast at the ballpark, and I think off the bat she struggled to find it, but good work by the Adelaide third baseman to corral it and make the catch.
I think we've seen for the last 4 days here that old baseball saying, hit them where they ain't. I think it's hit them where Tabbert ain't. She has been an absolute, as I said, got no more words. I can't.
Been very consistent the whole tournament so far.
Yep.
Solid defense, solid offense. It's almost a complete package.
2 on, 1 away. Here is Abby Mcclellan. Fastball misses low.
On first base, Abby McClellan.
McClellan did not have a hit, oddly enough, in the first game of the day. This one misses low for ball 2.
But what you see there, though, Andrew, is,
We're talking about Tabbert. Here are those plays that she made yesterday at third base.
they were spectacular. One to the right, one to the left to start off the whole tournament. I mean, everyone's nervous enough as it is, let alone the first 2 plays that come to you.
Next to McClellan, this one's skied on the infield right side. This time, an opportunity for Claire O'Sullivan. makes the catch, standing right next to her sister, who's stood atop first base. And there's 2 away, so a couple of pop-ups. Maybe those will calm the nerves for Caitlin Heinen, and now an opportunity to pitch out of this 2-on, nobody-out jam.
But what I've seen, Amy, is that Heinen's made the adjustment. She was up, up, up. Now she's missing down, which is a good thing. It means she's getting over her front foot more and not just falling away from to the first base side.
You could be right, just talking about some of those nerves, pitching on a stage like this for the first time at just 17 years of age. Mentioned that as maybe a reason, trying to overthrow, was missing up in the zone. But
the adrenaline, the whole works. I mean, the stage that you're on in front of your friends and family, it's live broadcast.
1-0 fastball, good pitch on the inner edge to even the count.
You have to remember, we've missed a lot of baseball in the last 18 months. Some of the last time she's seen these girls could have been on a live stream of the World Cup 2 years ago. You're playing for Australia, and then they're walking up to bat against her.
Yeah.
And she would have been 14, 15 years old at that point. How time flies, right? It's missing off the inner part of the plate.
When you get to this, is the highest level for these girls in Australia. This is their big league moment, right? So everyone's going to be so nervous. I mean, everyone went through it, or you would have gone through it, Amy. Your first World Cup for Australia. Everyone has those moments.
I was still nervous in my last at-bat, my last World Cup for Australia, and I think once those nerves go, it's time for you to go as well. And that's the thing. Whatever jersey you put on, it's a hard sport. And batting is one of the hardest things to do in world sport, and I think nerves are great.
Next to Wagner, missing high, and ball 4. So the third walk in the inning issued by Heinen. Now, the previous 2 had yet to come back to bite her, but the bases will now be loaded for Madison Heath.
Would you like to see the catcher maybe come out? We've got the experience of Tani. We see the pitching coach coming out now, but yeah, might have called that little chat on the mound.
Well, when she's around the zone, no one's touching her. Let's face it. So if she can then just calm that and get it down, knee height, be consistent around that one zone, she's going to have great success. She's got great stuff. We've already seen the breaking ball. We've already seen the fastball. She's got the stuff to be able to get people out. It's just the consistency around the zone. But at the same time, same thing was with Alice Prokopek yesterday. The adrenaline was pumping. To slow yourself down sometimes while you're on the mound is really difficult.
As nervous as I know Caitlin Heinen probably is, before the tournament asked about the superstitions, and her answer was, if I asked us, do you have any superstitions? We all have them. She turned around and said, no, just go out there and get it done. And I'm like, yep, that's a gamer.
Bases loaded for Madison Heath. Chance for Brisbane to jump out in front, or for Caitlin Heinen and the Adelaide Giants to pull some of that momentum back in their direction. After being blanked in the top half of the first inning, it's been a rare feat for Brisbane pitching to blank these Giants. Heath takes off the plate inside and leaving the count, a ball and a strike. In 2-1 in favor of Adelaide through 3 completes. And this one is skied on the infield. Lily White on the edge of the outfield. Grass makes the catch, and she got out of it. Caitlin Heinen walks the bases loaded, but the 17-year-old from WA makes sure no damage done. Let's go to the second inning. 0-0 in the finale of the Australian Women's Baseball Showcase. Heading to the second inning in Adelaide. Don't forget, you can help dreams come true by donating to aleagueofherown.com.au. Your donation is 100% tax deductible within Australia, and it'll go toward helping to launch a professional women's baseball league. Again, that's aleagueofherown.com.au. Donate today, and let's make dreams come true. Addison Tabrett leading things off here in the second inning. This was her bomb from earlier today. A big fly to go along with the defensive play. She's been one of the standout stars this weekend.
She's done it all. There's no doubt about it. I mean, from the magnet, from the ball finding her defensively, and then taking it to the batter's box and producing time and time again from Adelaide's been spectacular to watch.
A defensive star, an offensive star. She has been a lot of fun to watch, both in the box and at the hot corner the last couple of days. Jordan Richardson comes back out for her second inning of work, and the first two to Brett, missing just off the plate inside for a ball.
So the scouting report's in for Maddie. We've seen what she's done the first 3 games. They know each other, both from New South Wales. How are you pitching right now to Maddie? Benno?
Throw a strike. Hope for the best. No, it's a hard thing. It's one of those things where, because she's a compact player and she's got so much strength behind her as well, it's that sometimes you think, there won't be too much power, it'll be fine, but she doesn't. She can do it all, and she hits well the opposite field. So you really got to go in and out, up and down. You've got to mix it up. You just can't have that same strategy every pitch.
Swinging on 2-0, and this one's skied toward the left side in a tough sky. Maddie Patrick loses the cap, but finds the baseball, gets the most important implement, makes the catch, and there's one away.
Yeah, look, if we see that replay, I'm not sure we'll see the replay there, but yeah, got caught up backpedaling there, and then she took off the cap just to make sure she could get that ball and got it. As I said, she's been in right field for the tournament, so getting a shot there over there. As Tani Lovering, another player where the thesaurus is almost run dry. I don't know how many times we've seen her deliver this weekend.
Richardson throws it off speed pitch on the first to Tani Lovering. It'd be a thrill for Tani to get to catch the likes of Caitlin Heinen, I would think, in a game like this today. This one's popped up shallow right center. Doty coming in. There she makes the catch. Richardson has really settled in quite nicely. The only base runner she's allowed was the 2-out double to Borga Maestro last inning. But she's retired 5 of the first 6 that she's faced.
And the interesting thing, if you look at what's happening even with Heinen on the other side for Adelaide, is keeping the ball down and being consistent in the zone. And if you can do that, it puts the hitter on a back foot, being behind the count.
First 2 retired. Here's Jess Maslin. The DH spot, hitting 7th in the order for Craig Handy in Adelaide this afternoon. This has been some start so far for Jordan Richardson. 1-0 missing low, 2 balls, no strikes. Bandits side that came out firing offensively yesterday afternoon in game 1. Still scored plenty of runs. The problem is Adelaide has done the same. They're trying to win this 4th and final game and end this series at 2 games apiece. Seems as though they've got the right woman on the mound, doesn't it? She's been very, very good early, 2-1.
Well, consistency is the key. She's around the zone the whole time, and can throw that breaking ball for a strike, but also keep it down. So, fantastic pitching thus far.
Hitters count here for Maslin, the 2-1. She got a strike, couldn't pull the trigger, 2-2. Jess Maslin maybe wishing she could have that one back, pull the trigger on 2-1. She got a pitch to hit. Richardson trying to work a 1-2-3 inning. This one's spoiled foul. We'll do it again at 2-2.
It's interesting. You look at the pitch before where it was a nice, easy fastball on the outside half of the plate. When you're behind the count, sometimes you're sitting there and you're wondering what's going to come, as opposed to being ahead of the count and there's base runners on. All of a sudden, you're more offensive driver and you're willing to swing that bat. So right now, the Adelaide hitters now are sitting back and a bit more apprehensive.
Another 2-2 Missing high, 3 balls and 2 strikes. That's one of the reasons why that 2-1 count is such a swing count, right? Because all of a sudden the hitter can go from being advantaged to 1 pitch later. All of a sudden the pitcher has the advantage. So that's why that 2-1 count is always such an important pitch. In this case, Richardson was able to get a strike across. But now missing high on the 2-2. Here's the payoff pitch coming. Swung on and tapped foul. Maslin doing a good job of staying alive.
Yeah, you're right, Reynolds. I mean, as a pitcher with a 2-1 count, you know, you got to get that strike again. Otherwise, you get to that 3-1 count, and you're really battling from there.
Tabbert began the inning with a pop-up to third base. Tony Lovering then flew out to center. Another payoff coming to Maslin. Again, fouls it off over toward the left side. Turning into a good battle with 2 outs and nobody aboard here in the top of the second.
Well, it's a quality at bat. There's no doubt about it. Bringing the pitch count up for Richardson and making her throw more and more strikes. She's seen absolutely everything that Richardson's got to offer right now.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Another payoff. Hit back up the middle, and Maslin wins the battle. Really good at bat for the Adelaide DH, and she'll extend the inning with a 2-out single.
Yeah, I have to say, we've seen some really good at-bats this tournament, but I think that's one of my favourites so far. We see Jordan's off to a really good start, nil-all ball game, and again, she does not too much. Bites off those couple of fouls and puts herself on here, and something brewing here for Adelaide maybe.
So here's Ashlyn Morris, starting left fielder, hitting in the 8th spot for Craig Handy and the Adelaide Giants. First to Morris, get the over fastball that's in for a called strike. The 0-1, low and away, well blocked there by Madison Heath, count even.
Ashlyn named in the, well, she's in the Junior Aussie Spirit, the Australian softball team. So it's good to see we've got one back. I know she's probably cross-code representing both of them, but yeah, so if there's any softballers watching, want to come down, give the other Diamond Sport a go, won't say no.
1-1 pitch off the outer part of the plate. Softball in South Australia, very popular, and it's as is women's baseball with the South Australian Women's Baseball League. Craig Handy, the manager of this Adelaide side, an integral part of helping get that league up and running. The 2-1, low in the dirt again. 3 balls and a strike. Currently Moore awaiting on deck. Richardson, after retiring the first 2 that she faced, single to Maslin. And now a 3-1 pitch coming to Morris. This one tapped toward the shortstop. There's Laura Needs, an underhand over to Wagner. And the inning comes to a close. Again, the 2-out base hit does not come back to haunt Jordan Richardson. She's thrown 2 scoreless midway through 2. 0-0 in Adelaide. We've been talking a little bit about the history of women's baseball within Australia. 1918, if you can believe it, the first known women's game took place in Sydney. Then you see the first interstate series involving three of the stalwarts in women's baseball, being New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland. The first official women's nationals in the year 2000, and Australia hosting that Women's Baseball World Series against Japan in 2003. But women's baseball, it's been around for a long time. You see the first known game taking place more than 100 years ago in 1918. This women's showcase elevating women's baseball to that next level, Amy, en route to what we hope to be in the next 12 months, a professional women's league in Australia.
Yeah, and as you said, it's been around for a long time, but we're still really young. And I think the Australian women's team is celebrating its 20th year this year. We went to our first World Series in 2001. And what I think is fantastic is we're seeing that next generation coming through. We're seeing these girls who, they're idols, they're playing with right now, and that you can't be what you can't see. That's why we know how important the Women's League is for that continual generation push.
Going to the first Women's Baseball World Series in 2001 and winning it against Japan in the year 2002. It didn't take long for Australian women's baseball to announce their arrival on the international scene, did it? No,
and we have a couple of people here today, Samantha Hamilton coaching first base and Shay Lillywhite in the dugout for Adelaide, who were on that team in 2001. I joined the team in 2002. And as I said, I think yesterday, we punched well above our weight, and I'm seeing some of the kids out here at the moment, I just aged myself there. We're looking
Welcome
good.
to the club.
You get a look at Abby Kelly, who is coming to replace Maddie Tabrett at third base. Hope all's all well with Maddie, as this one's a ground ball to shortstop. Morgan Maestro to throw across her body, and it just gets over the head of Claire O'Sullivan. So Laura Needs will reach base to begin the inning for the Brisbane Bandits. And the Bandits will put the leadoff runner aboard for the second time in as many innings. There you get another look at Abby Kelly, who has been inserted in that third base position.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at Heinen right there, first batter of the inning, comes up with a nice ground ball to short right there. So she's doing her job on the mound, Amy.
She's indeed. And as we said, she's a no-nonsense player. And you can't underestimate the nerves that she would have. She's doing a very good job of hiding it.
Talking about that Women's Baseball World Series in 2002. The 1-0 is spoiled off foul. I believe it was 2003 where it was only Australia and Japan that competed, oddly enough, and maybe topically enough. I think it was the SARS pandemic that caused travel to be shut off, and it was only Australia and Japan. But I believe Japan traveled to Australia for that World Series and got one back on them for winning in 2002.
It was. The 2003 was supposed to be held overseas, and then everything, obviously, like what happened last year, everything sort of got turned on its head, and it ended up being a showcase up at the Gold Coast. Australia did a great job.
Ground ball to short. Borga Maestro with a chance to redeem herself. The turn at second base in time. Yes. 6-4-3. Borga Maestro, Lillywhite, O'Sullivan.
Nice. As we see in that replay there, nice feed from Kayla Borga-Maestro there and Shay, just delivering that ball in the dirt. But as we saw from Abby Mcclellan, a great pick to turn that double play there from Claire O'Sullivan this turnaround. But as I was saying, 2003, Australia really were hitting their straps. So we just came off that win in 2002 in Florida, and 2003, and then in 2004 was amazing. We had a World Series in Japan, followed by the first World Cup in Canada.
Nothing in one pitch to Hannah Marshall, missing just off the plate outside. And we had a look yesterday at the Australian Emeralds history in the WBSC World Cups. Of course, those starting in 2004 after the Women's Baseball World Series was sort of debunked, and that was part of the old international, the IBAF, before it became the World Baseball Softball Confederation. Yeah, as you talked about, the women's national team has been around for 20 years. First got together in the year 2001. It's the next pitch missing off the plate outside for a ball. Silver medal in 2010, and 4 years later, following up with a bronze in 2014. 3-1 pitch, another one to Borga Maestro, where she's been busy in the inning, and she gets the out. The strong throw makes up for the miscue to begin the inning. Gets the ground ball double play and retires Hannah Marshall. And the minimum face by Heinen in the second inning. Good ball game in our finale, 0-0 as we go to the third. And we'll throw it on field for another presentation from No More and Shane Tonkin.
Ladies and gentlemen, the No More campaign, fantastic supporters of women's baseball. Australian baseball have been supporting No More for more than 5 years. In 2016, the Boral Australian Emeralds were the first Australian national sporting team to create their own domestic violence action plan. Known as the DVAP, the plan is committed to reducing domestic and family violence and outlines practical goals and strategies to help achieve this. Linking arms is the traditional No More call to action to demonstrate that we are all working together to reduce the incidence of domestic and family violence. Today the players are holding signs that say everyone that has the right to be safe at home and to call out the increase in domestic and family violence enabled by the pandemic. The increase of domestic and family violence is considered to be a pandemic within the pandemic. Movement restrictions aimed to stop the spread of coronavirus is making abuse in home more frequent, more severe and more dangerous. Together we worked to reduce the number of victims of domestic and family violence. Might sound small, but signing up and pledging your support at nomore.org.au can add your voice to the national call to end violence. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, players.
Very nice.
All smiles for Jordan Richardson, and why not? She's been masterful atop the mound as we welcome you back to Bennett Field in West Beach. Beautiful Adelaide, South Australia, as we head to the top half of the third inning. Andrew Reynolds alongside Amy McCann and Shane Bennett. Thanks so much for your company. It's a good-looking line scored. No runs, 2 hits, and an error for Adelaide. Zeros all the way across the board for Brisbane in what is a decider in this fourth and final game of the Australian Women's Baseball Showcase. Adelaide leading the series 2-1. And the Giants will have the 9-1-2 spots in the order due up. Carly Moore leading things off. One of the 3 South Australians is part of this Adelaide lineup, and Jordan Richardson, as she's been doing all afternoon, pumps a strike on the initial offering. Good pitching matchup between these two, Richardson and Caitlin Heinen. Only 2 runs spread across 4 half innings to this point. This one spoiled away foul over toward the left side, 1-1.
Yeah, Richardson's been really impressive to start this game, and yeah, she's been really impressive to start this game. And I'm loving the similarities between her and Laura Needs at shortstop. They come from the same club. Richardson's obviously grown up being coached by and idolising Laura Needs. Got the little hit with the leg when she starts, ponytail under the cap. She's picked a good person to model herself off.
Nothing in 2 pitch, just missing a bit off the plate outside, 1-2. The next to Moore. Popped up again. This time to the right side. Wagner out at the edge of the outfield grass, there to make the catch. She's retired. The leadoff hitter in each of the first 3 innings now is Richardson, one away in the third.
Another great grab from Wagner there. We see she's come out today. Good game at second base. And as we saw earlier in that first game, the sun played havoc with the outfielders. And good work there with Wagner with a glove holding it up there. And she made a good catch. You see Laura there. She's always got a smile on her face.
There's that cheeky smile we're talking about.
Love it. When you're playing against it, you just want to wipe it off. When you're playing with her, it is the best thing.
Got to have one of those players on your team, without a doubt.
Takara held an ace at the plate now. She grounded out to third base back in the first. Here's a pop-up, a diving attempt by Richardson. Oh, so close, but she couldn't make the catch. That'll be an infield single for Takara Heldenace, and Richardson stays down.
I'm hoping that's... She looks like she was holding her left knee there. Not sure.
Get another look at it here. Nearly made the play. And I think just landing awkwardly after planting one foot to the other. She certainly is trying to stretch it out as best she can over toward third base.
It's going to be a planting foot too, Benno. How do we think? Looks like she's walking around okay, walking forwards, but...
Yeah, hopefully it's a bit of a stinger, and that's all it will end up being. But what a great effort off the mound to try and get to that ball. And it was, as we say, it's a game of inches, and it wasn't far. But she'll get an opportunity to throw a couple of warm-up pitches to make sure she's okay before she continues on.
Just take one more look at it here. We just missed it. It just looked like, she just fell awkwardly. I think she was in between, do I stay standing or do I dive? And that's just sort of where she got caught in between.
It's almost like a little bit of a hyperextension when she got caught into the grass there. But it's good to see she's rolled that over. She's going to be staying on the mound. But I tip my cap to Heldenace there. And we saw earlier in Game 3 from Bronwyn Gel, we got 2 speedsters who using all their tools. Put down that bunt, and she's gone deep. We've now put down the bunt. So the fielding side has to second-guess where they're fielding people like that. And I really like to see those plays. If you've got them all, use them.
No spoils for tipping that Takara Heldenace might be running here.
Yeah, you look at the size of the lead at first base. Heldenace is not cheating on this lead.
There she goes. The pitch is a strike to Lillywhite. A pretty good throw in the end from behind home plate. But you're right, Benno, with that size lead and the wheels that Heldenace has, there's really no chance to get her at second base.
When you're standing halfway between first and second, I think it's sort of a bit of a giveaway.
I'm like, she runs like the wind, and she's got that lead. And as we see there, look, a great effort from Madison Heath, and it's tough there. Look, tough there in the dirt there from Leeds, but you run that fast and you're taking that long lead. Well done.
RBI chance now for Lillywhite to try and break the 0-0 deadlock. This one's popped high into right field. Marshall over from right makes a running catch. Heldenace will wisely tag and go to third base, but a good catch by Hannah Marshall. She saves a run in right center and gives her pitcher an opportunity to get out of the inning.
And again, spent the entire game as a catcher, and we see here, just got underneath it there from Shea, and great running catch from Hannah Marshall, and great tagging up there from Heldenace, using her speed, getting herself over to third. Obviously 2 down, but still on third base, much more chance of scoring from there.
Heldenace has put herself at third base after a bunt single. Sometimes it's the simple things that break a 0-0 deadlock, and Kayla Borgamaestro is tasked with that here. Good pitch from Richardson. She'll pitch from in front, 0-1.
Yeah, it's interesting. Adelaide's playing the small ball here and actually doing the little things to create the opportunity to score. So anything can happen, an error, a wild pitch, pass ball. So it really creates an opportunity and puts the pressure on the defense to make sure they do make those routine plays.
Odd when they've scored 47 runs in 3 games that now they're playing small ball. Didn't know it was in their vocabulary. So 0-1 missing outside.
But what that for me is a tip of the cap to Richardson on the mound, because she's throwing strikes, she's throwing off speed when she needs to do. She's keeping the Adelaide bats in check.
I know how strong Kayla Borgamaestro is in the left center gap, long, but I know how good she is on the right side, and I'm thinking she might want to squeeze that single to the right side here.
1-1, and she popped her up. Could be the inning. Wagner out, Marshall in. It's Marshall who comes in, and she can't make the catch. Boy, the second baseman and right fielder just got their wires crossed. It was Wagner out from second, Marshall in, and it just sort of fell in between, and that's how the first run of the game scores.
And look, if we have the replay on that one, you can't understate the fact that these girls, we've got Laura Wagner from Queensland, we've got Hannah Marshall from Queensland as well, but you've also got to remember, Hannah's a catcher. So I'm questioning how many times they've actually played together, because we see here if a confident outfielder is probably calling that second baseman off and makes that catch. So, you know what, Hannah took a great catch before, just missed one early. She's really holding her own out there, and you put them together, you get these girls more opportunities to play together. They get comfortable and they make more plays.
And it's the guts and the speed from Takara Heldenace that is now the difference. And this ball is skied into left. A step back for O'Sullivan now comes in, and she makes the catch on the run. And the inning comes to a close. So an infield single, a stolen base. Takara Heldenace manufactures a run for Adelaide. They've got a 1-0 lead as we head to the home half of the third. Well, from Adelaide, you can travel inland on the Eyre Peninsula into untouched wilderness. You'll find ancient windworn granite, spectacular gorges, seasonal waterfalls, and the stunning Yanabee Sandhills that we're looking at now in Streaky Bay. South Australia truly is a beautiful spot. South Australia for many, many reasons. The scenery, the sports, the food, the activity. They've been gracious hosts for this 2-day, 4-game Australian Women's Baseball Showcase. Heading to the home half of the third inning, Brisbane will come to the plate trailing 1-0, and they'll use their power play. Caitlin Heinen has been very, very good, the youngster atop the mound. Delisa Nori now seeing her team for the first time in the game down a run, elects to use the power play and apply the pressure.
I'm a traditionalist when it comes to baseball, but I tell you, I am all team power play here.
I've
loved
seen your opinion of this shift almost seismically in the last 36 hours, Amy.
Oh, well, hang on. And the power play's had its own power play. They've just called a balk on Caitlin Heinen, and we've seen the runners go to second and third. Be keen to get that replay. See what she did. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, have a look at it here.
As you can see, she comes set, and then I'm not going to pitch.
Oh.
Just in two minds. Well, that's unfortunate. She's been so good at a ground ball double play to get her out of a jam. A few pop-ups back in the first. Is really pitching under duress for the first time now. Good pitch there on 2-0. Fight her way back into the count.
I still love the the ability to throw the strike with a nice loose arm. The action is fantastic. She stays over the rubber and collects everything and brings it to the plate. So from pitch one to pitch now, fantastic.
Narrowly missing Morgan Doty, high and tight. Now 3 balls and a strike. And this one's hammered left center field. That'll get down. And it sneaks past. It may score a couple. It got past the runner coming in to second base, and they get her there. So they do get it out. The silver lining for Heinen and Adelaide, but a base hit for Morgan Doty. It's a single. 2 runs come home to score, and by virtue of the power play, then the balk, the Bandits have quickly taken the lead.
Yeah, the ball comes back to height, and just a shocking bounce, unfortunately, out there for Sullivan. But, beautiful throw from Borgamaestro from the outfield, throwing a strike to second base and getting the out. With a power play, forget about the runners at first and second. Potentially they're going to score anyway. Give that up. Now we start 0-0 in the ball game, and that's all she's got to worry about, because I'm sure Adelaide will come back with the power play in their half of the inning.
Yes, we've seen power play come back with power play. That's definitely been the theme of this week.
So here's Elodie O'Sullivan.
I love the presence. As I know I'm a little bit biased, but that backing up there from Heldon Hayes was fantastic. I mean, Morris is known as she's a catcher, and that you said it was a shocking bounce. But Heldon Hayes was right there, comes up with that throw. But aggressive base running from Doty, I like that.
And oddly enough, a little bit of the pressure now is off of Caitlin Heinen. So you get a look at
Alice Prokopek in the
Prokopek.
bullpen.
It is indeed the right-hander warming for Adelaide. So missing Heinen inside. Now 3 balls and a strike.
But what do you think's going through Caitlin's head right now? She's young. She hasn't been in these situations. So a couple of pitches is enough sometimes to set the juniors off. They think the world's crumbling in, and it just comes down to that experience.
It does, and you know what? Right now there's a little bit of drop in velocity, right? So now it's about battling through. You don't have to have always your best stuff to get people out. So now forget about the power play's really scary for young players. Forget about it.
3-2. Boy, what a piece of hitting. O'Sullivan goes with a pitch down and away and gets herself a base hit into right field.
Elodie has really delivered this week. So you see on the replay here, we talked about that compact swing. She puts the bat. We talked about how hard, how fast Caitlin's bringing it down. She's got the bat in the way, and it's gone out just as fast.
It'll be interesting now to see how long Adelaide stay out there with Heinen, because they've got the bullpen up and running. We've got Alice Prokopek warming up. She wouldn't be too far away. And Adelaide want to keep this game in check and not let this thing blow out.
Check on the runner over at first base. So Sullivan diving back in safely. I was saying just before, it was almost like, you know, some of the pressure was off Heinen, both of the power play runners scoring on a single play, then getting the out at second base, and then right on cue, Elodie O'Sullivan applies the pressure once more by getting that base hit, a great base hit going with a pitch into right field. And now the middle of this Brisbane order is looming. That one misses away, 2-0.
You talk about the pressure. I question whether pressure exists, but the pressure they put on themselves as such young kids, because you've seen the likes of Shay, Tani, Maddie, Bronwyn. They've all made their debut for Australia at 15. And I think the kids see that and they go, oh, I'm 18, I'm 19, and I haven't played for Australia yet. There's plenty of times we're seeing the likes of Kayla Borger-Maestro and Laura Wagner and that are starting to really produce in their late 20s, but it's trying to get that through to the kids.
3-0, fastball misses high. A 4-pitch walk issued to Welch. You wonder just how long the leash is for the young 17-year-old Caitlin Heinen, with the veteran in Alice Prokopek warming in the Adelaide bullpen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. For me, it's going to be, see what this young lady can do. Can she dig down, find something deep? She's nothing more than a ground ball double play to get out of this inning.
This is not the player you want to make a mistake to, and Abby Mcclellan has shown the power that she possesses, the Victorian native. Popped out to first base the first time that we saw her here in Game 4. The 1-0. Low, 2 balls, no strikes. She's not missing by much. When she misses down in the zone, Heinen, those are good pitches. She's just not getting the calls. 2-0. When missed off the plate outside, and 3 balls, no strikes again.
Some of the differences this format of this tournament, the 2 games back-to-back, and the scoreline obviously didn't allow these situations. We've seen the situations that Abby comes up with 10 runs down, but today now she's coming up an hour later, and this is a tight ball game, and seeing those mental switches so close together, it's really good. I think the girls are going to walk away from this tournament really benefiting from that.
Back-to-back 4-pitch walks, and I think that'll be it for Caitlin Heinen as Craig Handy comes out and asks for time. We've been looking at Alice Prokopek warming vigorously in the bullpen down the right field line. She continues to, the right-hander. It looks as though Craig Handy is going to come take the baseball away from the young 17-year-old. It's the conversation at this point, and he does indeed take the ball. So good work from Heinen through 2 innings. The power play got the best of her here in the 3rd, and they'll turn to the veteran, Prokopek, will come in with the bases loaded, 1 out when we come back.
There you go.
Well, it was a good start from Caitlin Heinen. Unfortunately, the power play has gotten the best of her, and Craig Haney will turn to the veteran in his bullpen, to the right-hander Alice Prokopek, Amy, who we're seeing for the second time in the showcase.
Yeah, as we said, we saw her yesterday, and I know, Benno, you had a chat to her before today's game. What did you take out of her appearance yesterday?
Yeah, she threw the ball pretty well, but everything was up and up, and we spoke about that during yesterday's game. So for me, it was just about her picking up the home plate and picking up the position where the catcher is earlier to be able to get that downhill plane.
And she comes in facing a tough task. You'll remember, think back to the beginning of the inning. Caitlin Heinen had runners at first and second with Brisbane instituting the power play. And then she balked before she even threw a pitch and had to deal with 2 runners in scoring position. Then the base hit from Morgan Doty scored 2. Since then, a couple of walks and a base hit issued by Heinen. So this is a tough spot for Prokopek to come into. And this is who she's got to face, Laura Wagner, a young lady who we saw hit a couple of bombs yesterday.
Yeah, like we've seen this so many times, and I just love it every time. So we see her
Play it on
first.
repeat.
I think Laura might be. You have a video background on her phone if you could. No, it's fantastic. As we've spoken time and time again, it's great to see Laura coming out, having some pop in her bat in the second one here. Up to bat, see how she goes here.
Big AB in the context of this one. The first from Prokopek, a fastball that misses high. Wagner with those 2 home runs yesterday. Walked and was stranded back in the first of this ball game. Again, Brisbane looking to even the series at 2 games apiece with a win in the finale. They get their first lead of the afternoon. Ball 2 there, 2-0.
Yeah, the job for a reliever is to definitely come in and throw your first or second pitch for a strike and at least be ahead or even in the count.
Good pitch there from Prokopek. Needed to throw a strike. Not sure Wagner thought it was, but
It's a good pitch.
Pitcher's perspective. 2-1. Just high and tight, 3 balls and a strike. And now Prokopek in danger of walking in a run and seeing this Brisbane lead grow.
And we know that Wags has that potential again to put it out. We also know she's been around long enough to know the value of the walk here. So she knows she's missed outside and
pulled the string of 3-1. That's a gutsy pitch from Prokopek.
Well, she's got to challenge it. She's got no choice. You know, she's put herself in a 3-1 hole, so had to say here it is. See if what you can do.
Three balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded, and the payoff pitch missing off the plate outside. So Elodie O'Sullivan will score from third base. A bases loaded walk. That's now 3 straight base on balls by Adelaide pitching, and the Brisbane lead has doubled. It's now 3-1.
Once again, Amy, the power play has come into fruition and delivered more and more times.
If you're Adelaide, you almost have to use it in the 4th inning now, don't you? When narrowly missing, somehow missing Madison Heath. I don't know how this ball missed her. Let's have a look.
Yeah, that one just got out of the back of Alice's hand right there, so she needs to concentrate on reaching out towards the catcher.
1-0. A heck of a pitch after you throw one behind the hitter to locate that well, even the count 1-1.
Well, it's a tough thing. I mean, if you think about it, you've just walked your first hitter, then you have a really errant pitch there to be able to then come back and just throw a strike.
Nearly dropped one in. Boy, rough to not get the call. Pretty good pitch on 1-1 from Prokopek, and she's going to take a moment for herself. It's off the side of the mound. Now in a tough spot in a 2-1 count against Heath. Delivers the fastball, but it misses low.
I'm really keen to see a challenge Heath here. 20-year-old Heath, she's been touted as the next big thing in catching, like a lot of the teenagers here, and she's got a lot of raw power at the plate. Really like to see one here that she can get her hands to.
3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Prokopek challenging Heath again. Has run the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. This is a really important at bat in the context of this ball game and in this series.
Well, this could flat out blow out this game right here.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, bases loaded. Swung on, hit deep into right field, going back on it, and that ball is gone. Madison Heath with a grand slam into right center field. Moore was tracking it all the way to the fence. Ran out of room, and just like that, the Brisbane Bandits have blown this thing wide open in the home half of the 3rd inning. It's 7-1.
As I just said, I've been wanting to see her swing that bat. You can see the raw power. You knew it was there. I watched her hit all the bombs in pregame earlier this morning, and she got that pitch and she delivered. And the Brisbane dugout is going nuts. That's great to see. As you said, blown it wide open.
And you're right, Minnow, if you're Alice Prokopek, you have to throw a strike there. You have to challenge her, and Madison Heath would have known that. Got a pitch that she could drive and just puts it over the right center field fence. The power play has done a world of wonders for Brisbane, a team that has found themselves playing from behind. The previous 2 games have a 6-run cushion and a pitcher in Jordan Richardson that's going really, really well atop the mound. They're in a really good spot here in the 4th and final game as this one bounces in the dirt and misses.
And as you can see, the first 2 pitches, if we think about today's game, that started off very defensive-minded, is getting ahead of the count. That's the first 3. The first 3 pitches to every single hitter that you face, you want to throw 2 out of 3 for a strike.
1-1. Good breaking ball there from Prokopek. Catches the outer part of the plate against Needs. Laura Needs, the 9th player to come to the plate in the inning. Or I should say the 7th to come to the player in the inning. I keep getting stitched up with his power play. We're all learning. Another good off-speed pitch, but that one missed upstairs. I said it jokingly, tongue-in-cheek, earlier in the inning, Amy, but you've really warmed to the concept of the power play in the last 24 hours.
I love it. I love probably what I'd like to see is if it's going to be something we're seeing in baseball, particularly that extra inning where it really matters, I'd like to see it transfer over to the training field because we see the importance of what happens to pitchers when there's runners on. And I know you can't replicate that in a bullpen. So I'd like to see how the teams start to train towards that.
3-2. This one's popped up right side. O'Sullivan giving chase. Snow cones it, but goes in the scorecard all the same. A pop up to first base for the 2nd out of the inning. And you're right, it's interesting because it's something that we see in extra innings, but the situation can be different if it's extra innings because it's a tie ball game. So do you bunt? Do you move the runners over to 2nd and 3rd? But when you have the ability to use it either to extend the lead or to chase runs, it changes things both for the offense and the defense. So it's although it seems like a simple rule change, it can shift everything. It can shift the momentum. It can shift a pitcher's mindset, as we saw with Caitlin Heinen. She was cruising. All of a sudden, there's 2 runners on base, and everything changes. So it really does change the complexion of an inning, a game, and a series. Maddie Patrick, who scored a run as part of the power play early in the inning, takes off the plate.
The other thing to consider also is if we got a timed game here, I'd be implementing the power play earlier rather than late. Because you can't assume we're going to get to the fourth inning.
Yeah.
You could run out of innings. Exactly right.
Front load all the runs if you have to. 1-1 pitch, missing high, 2 balls and a strike.
It's like anything, you'd rather the money in the bank than worrying about what might come if it's a little bit more later.
I was really hoping that either Lisa Nori, the manager of the Bandits, or Craig Handy for Adelaide was going to use it in the first inning at some point in this series. I was really hoping for that.
Well, you put the pressure on early. I think it's a great idea.
But it's also, you've got one bullet in the chamber, and if you use it with no success early in the ball game, you'd be kicking yourself. So I understand also why they didn't. But it would just be fun to see. Top of the first inning, why not? Let's start the game with runners at first and second base. 2-2, that one missing just off the plate outside.
But if you think about
full. Sorry, Benno.
If you think about, I mean, in the start of the inning, everyone's nerves are in there, especially young pitchers. That would be the optimum time for me to use it, because you want to get onto that young kid who's on the mound and make him work really hard and go, welcome to the big leagues, basically. So I think it would work perfectly.
Bouncing ball in the dirt, and it'll get away. Matty Patrick quickly running to first base in a wide turn. Tony Lubbering's able to get the ball back to Prokopek quickly enough.
Well, I pose this question to you. I've become obviously team power play right now, but hear me out. You can choose the power play whenever you want. So young pitcher walks a couple of batters, boom, power play.
Yeah, you're down by one. You got a runner at second and third.
Bases loaded. I choose the power play. Move him around.
I like that.
That's it. Team power play all the way.
First offering here to Marshall. Throw down. It's in time. Got her. Inning over. Matty Patrick trying to put herself in scoring position, and she's down behind the second base bag. It was a hard tag from Borga Maestro.
Oh, no.
And again, all smiles until somebody gets hurt. Let's have another look at it as we head to break.
With serious play here, great receive out wide from Tani, and just unfortunately straight into throw, takes Shea down the line a minute. No malice in that whatsoever. It is just unfortunate.
We'll step aside and come back and have a look on just how Matty Patrick is in just a moment. Good to see that Matty Patrick is up and walking around. It definitely copped some contact sliding into second base as she limps off, but it's good to see her vertical. And have a look at this. Look at the pick before the throw.
I got it.
That is impressive.
As soon as the pitch happened, I went no, and I was, because we're behind home plate. I thought it was right, and she's picked on a bounce up. Thank you very much.
That is why she's played 7 World Cups for Australia, and I was waiting all 4 games to see that. And I think a bit of a late hesitation there, a late slide from Matty Patrick, and the throw took Shea down the line a bit. It's just unfortunate. But take nothing away from that play from Tani. That's why she's Tani Lubbock. That's why she's owned that position at a World Cup since 2004.
Just a easy day at the office, right? Pick a ball in the dirt, throw a runner out at second base, head back to the dugout.
I think just watching her walk off, I think was more impressive. It was just the walking off was like, yep,
easy as you like.
And the inning.
Just another day at the office.
That's how I do it.
Well, Jordan Richardson will come back out now with a giant cushion, so you'd have to think that probably Adelaide's going to use the power play here, and it looks as though they will, with a couple of base runners standing off toward the side. I think that's the right move. If you're Craig Handy, you've just seen how effective it was for Brisbane. You're chasing runs. You're running out of outs. You pretty much have to use it. His hand is forced here in the fourth inning.
And what you got to do is, we got to tip our hat to this young Richardson right here. She's pitched a hell of a game, and to get into the fourth inning, it's the first pitch, and first pitcher to do so all tournament so far. So she's holding the team. She's flying the flag for Brisbane. She's saying to the team, just jump on my back. I'm going to get you the win.
And let's not forget, obviously, a bit of an injury scare with her going after that bunt from Heldenay's a couple of innings ago. So what we're seeing, you never like to see players get hurt in any instance, but you can see game 4 here, the fourth game in 24 hours, the girls are still going hard.
So Abby Kelly will lead things off for Adelaide. She came in to replace Maddie Tabret at third base after Tabret's first at bat of the ball game. As we're getting her first bit of action at the plate here in game number 4. First offering from Richardson. Surprise, surprise, called strike.
Well, it's just consistency around the zone for Richardson. She's been around the zone the whole game, whether it be a fastball or be it the off-speed slider. It's just been very impressive, and that's what puts the Adelaide offense in a defensive mindset.
Well, Richardson turned to throw, but there was nobody at the bag. They may have had Kayla Borgamaestro picked off. Her counterpart in Laura Needs, the opposing shortstop, didn't have any interest in covering the bag. Needs may have been impressed by the quick move of her pitcher. The 0-1 hard hit left side. That'll get through for a base hit. Borgamaestro on her way to third, and she'll hold up there.
Nice
Good piece of hitting on a 0-1 from Abby Kelly, and the bases are loaded.
Have a look at this replay, Ben. I think that was actually a pretty good pitch. It was just a good bit of hitting from Abby. Good work out there in left field from Elodie.
Absolutely. It was a good off-speed pitch. It was down the zone, but just good all-around hitting. It's good baseball around, quite frankly. So, but I don't think we've not seen an inning with a power play that has not resulted in a massive crooked number.
This is what you want. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Tani Lovering at the plate. This is what the doctor ordered for Craig Handy.
The baseball gods always say you make that great play, and you always come up to bat.
Exactly right.
Lovering's flied out to center field. Swinging first pitch, lined right center. That'll get down, and she'll run for a while. They'll score 2 at least. Borgamaestro is in. Here comes O'Sullivan. She'll score standing up. Abby Kelly goes first to third, and it's a 2 RBI single for Tani Lovering, and here come the Giants.
Well, Benno, I see your name adorning the right field sign there, Bennett Field, but I'm really sorry. We're going to have to name right field Lovering Field right now because she has owned that piece of the grass these 2 days. It has been such a privilege to watch that.
It was. Beautiful piece of hitting, and once again, the team who's willing to hit the ball to right field has been successful.
Jess Maslin will try and keep the line moving. Maslin singled in her only previous at bat this afternoon. That was back in the second inning. Hitting with runners at the corners and nobody out in a 7-3 ball game. First she takes is on the inner part of the plate.
I just want to go back to Tani Lovering there. We talk about the talent, and clearly she's got the talent, but you look at her, she's 33, but you actually look at her, I honestly believe she's the fittest she's ever been in her career. And that's what the younger girls need to look at. She's not just blessed with the talent, she's has been one of the hardest workers for the last 15 years.
1-0 missing low, 2 balls and no strikes. Just to go back to what you were saying earlier in the inning, Benno, about power play resulting in an explosion of runs. The expected run equation tells you that first and second, nobody out, leads to, on average, 1.5 runs an inning. Say that we've blown that out of the water this weekend, haven't we?
Yeah, we've boosted those stats.
2-0 is spoiled foul off toward the third base side. 2 balls and a strike.
I do think I'm a great fan up here of the power play, but if I was on one side and I was on the not good side of a power play, I probably wouldn't be as flattering.
Yeah, you're looking at the power play from an offensive point of view.
Yes,
I'm looking at the power play from a defensive point of view. Me no like you so much.
2 balls and a strike. And the 2-0 misses. Runner going. And Townie Lovering will take second base without a throw. The throw is back to third base. Abby Kelly was able to scramble back in time.
It's a big count right now, 3-1, even though there's a base open. So, Richardson's got a chance not to just put anything on the silver dish. We got a base open to be able to then put themselves into a double play situation.
One swing of the bat. Maslin can make this a 2-run ball game. Anything into the outfield you would think would score. Kelly and Lovering. Bouncing ball left side, but just foul. Only by about 6 inches or so.
I think what I'm loving about this game is it's that old saying, you save the best for last. But I think what we're seeing here is the girls, they arrived yesterday, some arrived late, we've had plane delays, and I think the nerves and just getting the legs out, I think I'd love to see this a little bit longer, a few more days, just get settled.
This is a replication of the previous at-bat. Maslin had a massive at-bat, it's an 8 or 9 pitch at-bat, and won the battle with the base hit to right center. Can she do it again? She's had another fantastic quality at-bat right here.
Yep.
3-2 coming from Richardson. Ball 4 low and away, and the bases are loaded. And Ashlyn Morris, who represents a potential tying run, will come to the plate, but she may not be facing Jordan Richardson. Lisa Nori pops out of the dugout. We'll see if it's just a visit or if she plans to make a change. There's nobody warming in the pen, so if there was a change, it would come from somebody on field.
So, what do you think they're talking about? What they're going to have for dinner tonight, or?
Well, you tell us. You're the expert.
Well, it depends. I've had some pitching coaches and head coaches have walked out and gone, listen, Shane, you've done a great job, but you sucked this inning, so you need to get off the field. So then I've had someone walk out and give me a joke, and then I've had someone come out and talk complete strategy because they're in the zone. So I think it depends on the situation and the time of the game and obviously the score of the game.
Yeah, look, I think Lisa's just letting her know what a great job that she's done. It was a brief chat, but she's done a great job, and she's coming on. She's being replaced by Bronwyn Gell, another two-way player. With Bronwyn's got some pop behind her, someone doing it as a part-timer as well.
Look at second base out there. They got them surrounded.
So Gell will come in. We will step aside. A pitching change here in Adelaide. Getting a look at Bronwyn Gell, who is coming in to relieve Jordan Richardson, who is so good for the Brisbane Bandits. And just as we saw last half inning with young Caitlin Heinen, the power play just got the best of her. But as we see Bronwyn Gell, let's not let the start of Jordan Richardson go awry. She was very, very good this afternoon.
Oh, Jordan, she really needs to be so impressed with that. And everybody will remember that performance. It's really fantastic. And we're seeing Bronwyn Gell now. Bronwyn Gell is Bronwyn Gell. She was the junior that everyone talked about for 10 years, and we still talk about her. And now she's facing Genevieve Beacom, the one that everyone talks about now as well. So I love this matchup. I know I've said I've loved a lot, but I'm loving it. Still, this keeps delivering this showcase. I love it.
Bases loaded, nobody out. And young Genevieve Beacom at the plate. We thought she might be swinging first pitch. Had a notion that she'd be doing that, didn't we?
It's good. It's been a shame we haven't seen her on the mound here, but as I said earlier, it's great seeing her up to bat and being involved.
Why do all the lefties have just nice-looking swings?
I know.
Oh,
Big hack there from Beacom. Jill scoots one past her, 0-2.
there was some cheese on that pitch right there. It was, Browen just went, here it is. Little sinker away. Look at that. That's beautiful pitching.
0-2 from Jill. Spoiled away foul again. We'll do it again, no balls and 2 strikes. And you mentioned not getting to see Genevieve Beacom on the mound. They're just managing her workload somewhat. She plays baseball essentially year-round, plays winter ball, plays representative baseball, summer ball, obviously. She'll be playing at the Australian Senior League Championships in Lismore next week for the Southern Mariners. So they're just trying to manage her workload. Because here's a ball lined into center field. Doty coming in. She's there to make the catch. And Abby Kelly, her first break off of third base was toward home, so she had no chance of scoring on a hard-hit baseball. So hard hit off the bat of Beacom, but no damage done. Jill retires the first that she sees. It's out the mound.
I'm just putting a little asterisk next to that F8. And again, we're so blessed here with centre fielders with Takara Heldenase for Adelaide and Morgan Doty there in centre field for the Brisbane Bandits, taking that awesome catch, giving no chance to the runner at third for tagging up there.
So one away, Carly Moore's swinging first pitch.
That's the effort from Broman Joe. Just, I'm going to play shortstop a few games and then make some phenomenal plays, and I'm just going to get on the mound and deliver.
She's pumping strikes, isn't she?
Oh, it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's just, effortless, nice and easy. Here's the strike. I'm confident in what I can do and what pitches I can throw.
Just quickly 0-2 to Jen Beacom. Here she's 0-2 to Moore. 0-2 pitch, missing high and tight. Not a bad place to miss.
Yeah, look, I had the privilege of coaching Bronwyn, coaching for the Doncaster Dragons last summer, and honestly, my biggest challenge was, where do I play her? I needed 3.
Sounds like your biggest challenge is, where don't you play her? This one hit toward the right side, dying quickly. Will it stay fair? And it does. Falls just short of the line. They'll get to the force out at second base for the second out of the inning, so there is some silver lining for Brisbane. But another run comes home to score for Adelaide, and they've cut the lead to 3.
I've been really impressed with the plays by some of the outfielders there, or just the plays in the outfield, by going and getting in a runner that there's such an urgency at times to go for that runner trying to score. But we see here again, and we've seen it a couple of times from Abby Mcclellan nabbing that runner at 3, and Abby goes and nabs the runner at 2 there. It's really heads up fielding.
One of those tough in-between spots to be in when you're the base runner at first base, isn't it? You don't really know what to do. You're sort of caught in the middle. And as it turns out, there really was nothing that Jess Maslin could do there. She had to stand atop first base. Just in fear that the ball would be caught. Sorry, Amy.
No, I was just going to say, if we're naming an all-star team from these 2 days, who are you putting at centre? Heldenase or Doty? Or am I pushing one of them to left or right? That's it. The shift.
Here's a base hit into right field, and Geldenase delivers again, swinging first pitch against Bronwyn Gell. She's been standing off to the side, watching Bronny pitch for 2 or 3 hitters. Knew she was going to get a strike on the first offering, because that's just Bronwyn Gell being Bronwyn Gell, and that's really smart hitting from a young hitter. It's Takara Geldenase. I know we've talked a lot about her this weekend, but she delivers again.
She really has. It's funny. We see Shay Lillywhite coming up to bat now, but the way that Takara has been batting, you'd think that was Shay. You'd think she'd played for 21 years. It's really impressive.
So here is Lillywhite. Runners at first and second with 2 away. Lillywhite going to right field. Marshall back on it, makes the catch. And the inning comes to an end. So Adelaide, they used their bullet. They used the power play to push 4 runs across, and they've tightened things up. What a ball game in the finale of the Australian Women's Baseball Showcase as we go to the home half of the 4th in Adelaide. Well, if you're liking what you're seeing on the Diamond this weekend, then give it a go yourself. Baseball, a sport for all ages, genders, and ability levels. You can find a club near you at baseball.com.au and start playing today.
Just on that, it's been great to see the representation of the clubs here. We've got 20 clubs represented here amongst all the players, and Australia's really renowned. I actually caught up with Veronica Alvarez last week, who's the coach of the US women's team, and she marvels at the program we have over here and the leagues, and that's one of the big reasons we've had a strong international team, because of the grassroots foundation here. And we see what South Australia's doing with 3 leagues. They've just popped up in the last couple of years. It can only get bigger.
With all states and territories aside from Tasmania as well, and a player from the ACT, a player from the Northern Territory, 3 from South Australia, 3 from Western Australia. So all states and territories well represented as well across the spectrum of these 2 rosters in this Australian Women's Baseball Showcase. It's been a lot of fun on this last couple of days in these 4 games, getting to work with 2 esteemed colleagues such as yourselves. And I think we're in store for a fun finish as well. Here's Hannah Marshall leading things off in the 4th inning for Brisbane, playing with a 2-run cushion 7-5 ball game. Looks to lay down a bunt to begin the inning, but that'll just get pushed foul off toward the right side.
Yeah, I think these 2 days have gone quicker than some of those home runs that left the ballpark. So it's been a absolute ball calling with you guys. I'm just sad it's all coming to an end. Can we do it again tomorrow? Can we?
Yeah, we'll try and put something together. You just got to look at Carly Moore, who's now in right field for Adelaide. It's the ball missing off the outer part of the plate on the next to Marshall.
You can see Claire O'Sullivan's probably at about her 4th or 5th position of the weekend. She's hit to left field, and Genevieve Beacom's come on into first base as well.
The 1-1. High, 2 balls and a strike. So there you get a look at Claire O'Sullivan.
Just taking the position of her sister, who's been out there for the week for Brisbane. It's great to see those sisters. I think the 3rd set of sisters to play for Australia.
2 balls and a strike on Marshall, leading off the inning. Takes Heinen inside. 3-1 now. Morgan Doty, the leadoff hitter, awaits on deck. Brisbane utilizing their power play to score all 7 runs in the 3rd inning. Adelaide following up in the 4th to push 4 runs across. And here's a leadoff walk issued to Hannah Marshall to begin things here in the home half of the 4th.
I see Belinda Cannington warming up in the Adelaide Giants bullpen. We saw Belinda yesterday on the mound. She throws a lot of strikes. Be good to see her get another chance, another opportunity out here in this showcase.
Alice Prokopek came on in the 3rd inning as part of that power play to replace the young 17-year-old in Caitlin Heinen. Continues atop the mound here in the 4th. As Amy mentioned, Cannington starting to roll it over in the Adelaide bullpen. Still a game that could go either way, a series that could go either way. Adelaide leading it 2-1 coming into this finale. Brisbane trying to ensure that it is 2-all when the showcase finishes. Here's a ball lifted into left field. Will it hit the gap? O'Sullivan over. It'll fall in front of her. It's a base hit for Morgan Doty. 3rd time that she's been aboard. They've yet to retire her in this 2nd game of the day, and it's 2 on with nobody out to begin the last of the 4th.
It's been an impressive couple of days from Morgan. But we do expect that with Morgan, but we forget sometimes Morgan's one of the elder statesmen of the teams, but she's another one like Tani. She's at 28, but she's playing like she's 18. She's just one of the fittest, and she's just consistently delivers. That's why she's in Where's the Green and Gold every 2 years.
3rd AB of the afternoon for Elodie O'Sullivan. Takes a strike from Prokopek. Walked and was stranded in the 1st. Brisbane left him loaded in the 1st inning. Singled and scored as part of that 7-run power play. In the 3rd inning, it's currently the difference in the ball game. Next to O'Sullivan, missing high and away.
We look again at the... Claire's probably waiting for one. She told me last night she was watching her sister's balls fly from right field. Now she potentially might sit underneath one. Maybe she might steal one over the fence.
1-1, missing off the plate outside.
I still can't get over her batting gloves. I spent my entire career doing the in and out, the in and out. I was the Dustin Pedroia. I had to do it, Nomar Garcia Parra, take them on and off, and I couldn't get them tight enough. Should just cut them off. She's onto something.
Seems like a lot of work. 2-1, missing low, 3 balls and a strike. Just go no batting gloves. Just go old school.
Old school. Pete
Yeah,
Rose.
no, I did. My second half of my career, I was no batting gloves. Could just never find a pair I liked. I was like, I've got hands. I'll use them.
Till you hit one off the end of the bat and it rattles your hand for 3 or 4 days. 3-1 to O'Sullivan. Prokopec misses high again. It looks like that'll be the end of the afternoon for Alice Prokopec as Craig Handy will make the slow walk out to the mound. Belinda Cannington has been warming in the bullpen. And Handy makes the gesture to the pen, and we will have a pitching change. We will step aside once again. The Bandits trying to even this series at 2 game apiece. They've got the upper hand and are threatening again here in the home half of the 4th. Second arm out of the pen and the third arm overall for the Adelaide Giants. Getting a look at Belinda Cannington, who comes on to relieve Alice Prokopec.
Yeah, look, Belinda, we saw her yesterday on the mound. A lot of the girls in women's baseball know her for her bat and playing up the middle, and she's sort of like a Caleb Maestro. We can put her on the mound. She throws a lot of strikes. Like Laura Wagner, Belinda's been around that Australian squad, around the national scene for about 10 years, and just sort of been on the edge. But it's an opportunity here, like we've seen from a lot of the players here this weekend, to show their skills in more than one position, and hopefully Belinda gets a good opportunity to finish it out for Adelaide here.
Tasked with facing Taylor Welch in the murderer's row, middle of this order for Brisbane. Welch, Mcclellan, Wagner, the 3 do-ups. This has been a potent middle of the order for Brisbane, who are trying to hang on. And even this series, both teams can leave with 2 wins apiece. First offering from Cannington, missing off the plate inside. And the official word is that no inning can start after 2:45 local time. We're 2 minutes away from that checkpoint. Brisbane trying to hang on and secure victory in this 4th and final contest. Welch has popped out to third base. She's also walked and scored. 2-0 and for a called strike, 2-1. All 7 of Brisbane's runs coming via the power play in the home half of the 3rd. Adelaide tried to follow that up a half inning later, but were only able to score 4 times. After adding a tally in the 3rd inning, and that's how we got to this 7-5 scoreline. Welch just stepping out of the box, asking for time, as it granted by Fiona Lambrick. Misses off the plate inside for a ball. You're right, it's Jordan Richardson. Benno keeps elbowing me in the ribs. Appreciate that. Jordan Richardson hitting for Taylor Welch, who was originally the DH. There's a ground ball towards shortstop. Morgan Maestro is there, can't make the play. Everyone will advance a bag. Marshall comes home to score from third base, and that'll extend the lead to 3 runs. So Richardson aboard at first base, so Sullivan moves to second, Doty at third. Here now is Abby Mcclellan. Boy, would she like to put the exclamation point on a potential win for Brisbane. They've already had one grand slam. Madison Heath hit as part of the power play in the third inning. Abby Mcclellan, we know, has the power to punctuate the weekend as a called strike.
Last at bat for the tournament right here. I'll be coming out of my shoes right about now.
Oh, I was coming out of my shoes on that one.
The 0-1 from Cannington. Off speed. I'll tell you what, two pretty good pitches from Cannington, and now she finds herself ahead in the count, so she can be a little bit creative if she needs to with Mcclellan.
I wouldn't be giving her a fastball, that's for sure.
No chance.
0-1 where she got a pitch to drive, but it's popped up right side of the infield. Lily White from second base, and she made the basket catch. Probably increased the knob, turned it to the right on the degree of difficulty, ended up making the basket catch, but all's well that ends well.
Yeah, we see Genevieve Beacom just backpedaling a little bit there, and Shay, I love it. Shay's always been renowned for taking that pop-up anywhere on the field, and that's what makes her so great. She's just got that range, and she's there. She's got the steady hands. But I really like that challenging up from Belinda there, going at Abby. Abby just missed that.
Just.
Oh.
It doesn't get any easier. Wagner hammers a pitch left side. That'll score at least one. Doty's in to score, and they will hold up Elodie O'Sullivan at third base. Rightfully so. Her sister was trying to throw her out from left. Say, no chance. Not running on that arm in left field, Coach. I'll stay here.
There's a little bit more off the out of the hand there from Claire in left field, as we see. On ball, Laura's puts that into left field. I love that turn from Elodie around third base there. I thought she was going.
You'd say Claire knew exactly who was standing on third base and put a little bit of extra mustard behind that throw. So base is still loaded. One away. Here's Madison Heath, who hit a grand slam last inning. Added the exclamation point onto the 7-run power play third inning for Brisbane. 0-1, missing just low, and it's a ball and a strike. Walked in the first, rather popped out in the first before hitting that 4-run big fly last inning. She misses high, and here it is.
Yeah, I think we spoke about it earlier, the raw power from the 20-year-old Madison Heath, and we saw it here. She lost her shape a little bit, and she was out in front, and she still puts it over the right field fence. I think that, we harness that, we really work on that. She's going to be great.
This ball's hammered into left field. O'Sullivan is back and makes the catch. Older sister is tagging, and the throw is just up the line. And Elodie would be breathing a sigh of relief. A good throw in from Claire O'Sullivan in left, but another run crosses the plate for the Bandits.
And again, look, that goes down as a line drive out to left field. But you got to highlight that. That was on the nose. And Claire's showing herself she can play out there. And again, her sister tagging up on her arm. And it was a good effort there from Claire to get it in.
So 2 away. Here is Laura Needs. Richardson aboard at second base. Wagner at first. Needs getting the shortstop in this fourth and final game of the showcase. And a ground ball to third. Abby Kelly taking after Maddie Tabret. Gobbles it up, makes the play. The inning comes to a close, and the weekend comes to a close as we pass the hour 45 mark. And the Bandits win the fourth and final game of the Australian Women's Baseball Showcase, and it means both teams are going home with a win apiece after a historic weekend here at Bennett Field in Adelaide, Amy.
Oh, look, I think you want to say baseball is the winner here, but I think women's baseball, Australian women's baseball, and these girls, after such a long 15 months off the field, were back. 4 games in 2 days, that's a huge ask, but as we saw then, the best game was the 4th game, and I think once they settled, it was great. There was some really... I can't pick my favourite moment. We saw long balls. We saw some great young pitchers, some amazing plays in the field. I think it's great science, given where we've come from.
I think it's a good point. I mean, you mentioned a few times during each of our broadcasts over the last couple of days that women's baseball, they've had so many cancellations, postponements, be it World Cups, be it the Women's Nationals this year, be it the Women's Baseball Showcase. Benno, you getting to sit here and watch these games the last 2 days, what impressed you the most about what we saw?
Well, some of the young arms for me, I mean, you look at Enon, I mean, beautiful pitching action and live, electric stuff, same as Needs. I mean, there's young pitching that's coming through, and that is so difficult to replace, to have that possibly come through, because you can build a franchise on pitching and defense.
We'll head down to the field one final time for the General Manager of Commercial for Baseball Australia and Shane Tonkin.
Ownership and the Adelaide Giants ownership for supporting this event. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a 2-2 series. I think a fitting result for the very first Women's Showcase. Can you please put your hands together for the ladies on the field? Another fantastic cause is the No More campaign, which is the Spirit of the Game Awards. It goes to the players who have participated in the best spirit with the greatest respect of the game, their opponents, their own team, scorers, umpires, spectators and others involved in making sure this game goes ahead. The Spirit of the Game Awards challenges the win-at-all-cost mentality that infiltrates sport and is not necessarily awarded to the best player, even though it can be. The Spirit of the Game Awards recognise those that make the sport great beyond what they do on the field and remind us that one team wins and one doesn't. There are no losers. And the judges are in. The winner is Game 4. Spirit of the Award goes to number 12 from the Adelaide Giants, Tiny Lovering. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you much to the players, thank you for the umpires, thank you for the Giants for hosting this series and all the volunteers and the broadcast crew, for our friends at KO for putting this live around the country and the world. Please put your hands together as the ladies finish, or shake hands to finish the series. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much. Please put your hands together for our ladies playing today.
We had a wonderful finish to a wonderful weekend. Tani Lovering being given the Spirit of the Game Award courtesy of No More. What a weekend it was. The Brisbane Bandits top the Adelaide Giants 10-5 in the fourth and final game of the Australian Women's Baseball Showcase. And the two teams are leaving Adelaide with one win apiece. A historic weekend, a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed it with my two colleagues. And for my two colleagues, Amy McCann and Shane Bennett, my name's Andrew Reynolds. On behalf of our entire crew, thanks so much for hanging out with us this weekend. We hope to see you very, very soon in a women's baseball setting here on KO. But until then, so long and good afternoon from Adelaide, everybody.